Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. Today we have with us a personality that, in spite of certain limitations, he's been a source of inspiration for many of us, not only highly educated, but mashallah, he's been a source of determination, of talent, of hard work, and so many things that we're going to explore in the interview. I'd like to bring to your attention the one and only Sir Professor Gul Zamin, sir. Thank you very much for coming to our studio. May I have the honor of shaking hands with you, sir?
Thank you.
Yes, right, sir, right. Okay. Since I have learnt about you, sir, I've been hearing about you from different sources. It has been an eager wish to see you, sir.
Thank you.
Let me ask you in the very beginning, just could you please tell us about your early life or the problem that you faced or the difficulties, because obviously you have got a bit of limitations that we people don't have. So how did you tackle all these difficulties and all these, you covered all this journey?
Well, thank you very much for your kind words, and Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You see, I have this problem since I was 18 years old.
Right.
When I was doing my FSc.
Mhm.
So the problem began deteriorating at that time.
Right, sir.
Before then, I was getting on. I had this eye problem. It is, by the way, a congenital problem. It is called retinitis pigmentosa.
Right, sir.
So I had this problem right from my birth, but
Right.
it was not that serious.
Mhm.
So I could play with normal children. I could move about. I had no problem. I used to
Things
ride.
were quite normal.
Things were quite normal.
Right,
quite
sir.
normal.
Right, sir.
Riding bicycle like normal kids and go to school, going to school and studying on my own. Of course, in those days I needed a bit of more light
Right.
as compared with normal people. Still, I was able to move on and get on with my life like a normal kid.
Right, sir.
So I see the things began worsening while I was taking my FSc first year exam.
Right, sir. Right.
So at that time, I felt that I could no longer be able to write for myself.
Right, right.
So I gave an application to the board authorities, the Board of Education, Secondary and Higher Education, so Sayyid Sharif Swat.
Right, right, sir.
And unfortunately,
You didn't quit. You tried.
No,
You
no,
just kept up your
I
struggle, and mashallah, that's a very positive sign on your
Yes,
behalf.
I was just thinking that I should do my FSc since I have already spent 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
But the authorities, they didn't agree with me. They didn't allow me any munificence or any writer in layman's term.
Right, sir.
I had to quit my FSc there because not because of my own will.
Mm-hmm.
I was not willing to leave it at that time,
Right,
but because of the negative attitude of the authorities.
Right, right.
So
They were not ready to cooperate.
They
with
were
you.
not ready. They simply didn't
goodness.
believe my story. They said, you see, that maybe they thought that I was just telling them lies.
Right, right.
Although I produced a medical certificate, still they didn't believe in what I was saying to them.
Right, right, right.
I tried my best to convince them, but you see, all my efforts just were in vain. They fell on deaf ears.
Right, right, right.
So I had to quit my FSc and then came back at home and started waiting.
Right, right,
I had no idea what to do because whenever I would think of resuming my studies, the first thing that would strike me at that time was how would I take my exam?
Right, right.
These people would not allow me a writer. So how would I take an exam? They don't believe in what I'm saying to them. They don't accept the medical certificate.
Okay.
So if I can't take exam, what is the point in studying? Preparing yourself for exam.
Right, right. Instead of encouraging you, instead of supporting you, they just went the other way.
They just
right.
Maybe they were not aware of the problems. Maybe I was the first case. I don't know.
Right.
It was in the early 90s. It was 1992, I think. Yes.
Right.
In 1992.
Right. So these are the cloudy environment when you struggled and you came out of those.
Yes.
Right.
The years from 1992 till 1995. when I finally, you see, took my FA exam.
Right.
And in those days, both the first years and the second exam could be taken in private capacity together.
Right.
So I took my FA exam and I succeeded in that. You see, by the time, fortunately, my sister had arrived at that time to the FA part 1. So we started studying together, and this way she used to read to me and I would memorize.
So she was a great helping hand.
Yes, in those days.
Right,
yes, in those days she was a great help.
Right.
And then, you see, I did my FA.
Right.
So things began to be a bit normal.
Right.
And I did my FA in 1995.
Now that means, Professor, sorry to interrupt you, that brings it to me to my second question. At the moment, mashallah, you are a professor of English language, and things have turned, quite changed a lot like this. So could you please tell us about the biggest factor, or the source of inspiration, or the things that helped you, or the people who helped you to this point?
Well, yes. You see, behind every success story, there are lots and lots of people involved. See, it's not an individual thing. So
thanks God you didn't say behind success there is a woman like this.
No. The woman is always there. See, my mother was very.
This is the common perception, but mashallah, I think this is not your story.
Yes, not
right,
my story.
Please, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
my mother was there. She was a great help. May Allah rest her soul in peace.
Right.
So was my father. May Allah rest his soul in peace as well.
Ameen, sir.
Both of them were very encouraging, very cooperative. See?
Right, sir.
But apart from them, there were lots and lots of people who helped me.
Right.
And one of them is, of course, Mr. Ahmed Farid. He recorded some portion of my BA course as well, and then he recorded the entire master's course, the entire MA English Literature course.
My goodness, it's been a wonderful personality, Mr. Ahmed Farid.
Yes, more than 400 hours of recording.
My
Just
goodness.
can't imagine it.
Right, sir.
You see, so then the late Saima Ammar, she used to run an NGO called Pakistan Foundation Blindness. She also helped me a lot. And then my teachers, of course, at National University of Modern Languages, you see. But these two people, Saima Ammar and Sir Ahmed Farid, they really took me by hand and almost literally made me arrive at the destination where I wanted to be.
The world is because of people like these, no doubt, sir.
Yes.
Sir, the question that I had in my mind is, why literature? Why not another field of life? Because mashallah, your determination, your hard work, it could go to any other field of life. Why literature? Why did you choose literature?
Well, you see, literature is very fascinating.
Right.
It's very interesting. You love to listen to stories. You love to be familiar with the larger picture of life.
It's a world of its own.
It's a world of its own.
Of course.
It's a world of its own, but it's a world quite in touch with the world of reality.
Right.
So you get a feeling of what is going on around you, what went on before you. See, you get all this information from literature, and alongside that, you're also fascinated by the interesting stories.
Right.
So these were some of the things that pushed me towards literature.
Maybe the definition attracted you that literature is a mirror of society also, like this. This might be one of the factors that I presume.
And it is literally. It's not just merely a definition.
Right.
Literature is a reflection of it.
Right. Now, sir, could you please give us a glimpse of what are you at the moment you're doing at the moment, what are you involved in, like?
Okay, see, when I did my masters, and I did it in 2006.
Right, sir.
So I was offered the post of a lecturer at the same university from where I did my masters.
Right, sir.
So I taught there, that is National University of Modern Language in Islamabad.
Right.
I taught over there for 6 months.
Right.
So then this opportunity arose here at the University of Malacca.
University of Malacca, right.
And I applied over here as well. So I was selected over here.
Right.
And I have been teaching in this university for the last 12 years.
Of course.
Since September 2006, and currently I am serving as an assistant professor in English.
Mashallah.
I did my MPhil from this university in linguistics, and currently I am doing my PhD from National University of Modern Language and
That's
Languages in Islamabad.
That's a milestone, a great milestone.
And
mashallah.
almost halfway through my thesis, so I'm in the maybe in the next 2-3 months I am in a position to complete my thesis.
Right. So wonderful, wonderful. So now, so in our society, obviously, there must be people like you who are having struggle, they are having the determination, but might be there a certain lack of resources. So, sir, in view of your observations, in view of your own experience, what would you like to suggest for the common people, for the society, for the government to encourage people like you? Because many of them have got the potential, they've got the talent, but maybe things are not like suitable for those people. So what are your suggestions for the people, for the government to encourage these people and pave their way towards success?
Well, I don't believe in charity programs personally.
Right.
I don't want the authorities to give charity to these visually impaired and blind people.
That's great. Excellent.
See, the best thing I personally believe that they can do is to educate them,
Right.
facilitate them to get education, provide them with all sorts of assistance, especially assistive technologies. Give them, most of the people, they come from poor family backgrounds, and since they carry this disability, in the majority of cases, the parents don't think that their children would be in a position to pay back the investment that they are making at that particular time. You see, so they don't. The parents are not willing to invest in their disabled children. So it's up to the government, you see, to run such programs so as to change the attitude of the people, the mentality of the people, the thinking of the people at large, and secondly, provide educational facilities to these people. Once they are educated, I think they would not be in need of any charity. They can be very useful members of the society.
I 100% agree with you. We can call it a charity. You people are a part of us, and it is your right. We cannot call it a charity like that. You must be like, as I said, in your own experiences. You wanted to struggle, you wanted to work hard, you wanted to come forward, but there are certain people who didn't want to cooperate with you. So that's why I asked you this question in that reference like this.
Okay,
so people should be more cooperative.
Yes, it's
they
not
should
the end
feel
of the world.
your conditions like this.
It's not the end of the world. Maybe it's still you come across people who will look down upon you as an individual with disability. Maybe there are people who would discourage you from time to time, but no. You see, if you have the light of education, you're not going to be distracted from whatever goals you set for yourself as a disabled individual. I won't call it disabled, although you see, I'm just using this term for the understanding of common people. Generally, they should be called special people.
Special people, of course. That's a wonderful term invented. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are having Mr. Gul Zamin, wonderful example of hard work and talent. We'll be back right after a short break. Please don't go away. Stay with us. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the interview with Professor Gul Zamin, a wonderful personality of his field. Sir, the next question that comes into my mind is that what is your target in life? Obviously, you are pursuing, mashallah, a wonderful career, a very successful career. So, what is your aim in life, or the goals that you'd like to achieve?
You see, the main aim that I held before me when I became visually impaired was that I thought to myself that it would be better if I was able to teach at the university level. So I have already achieved that goal. Now the second goal that I had in my mind was to be independent. You see, and I have achieved that goal as well. The third aim that I had was to get married and have children, and that aim has also been achieved.
You got all those blessings that other people have, mashallah.
Yes. So and I wanted to lead a life like normal people. So I am leading a life like normal people. And then I intended to do my Ph.D. because you see, at the university in this age of competition, when most of your colleagues are doing Ph.D., you also wish to be a Ph.D. doctor like them. So the moment they started flying off for their PhDs, I also applied and I also got a chance
Right.
to pursue my PhD, and I'm already pursuing it.
Mhm.
So that aim is also going to be fulfilled soon.
Mhm.
Now I have got a larger aim in life now.
Right.
You see, aims and objectives, they change with time.
Right.
So now I feel after PhD, I'm going to turn my attention towards religious studies.
Right. That's
Along
wonderful.
with
That's
my
wonderful.
professional duties, obviously they will be going on.
Mhm.
But I want to study Quran.
Right,
I want
right.
to study
Wonderful,
Hadith,
wonderful, excellent,
and
sir.
I want to do something
That's
for
unique,
the
sir.
promotion of my religion as well.
Right, sir.
Because I personally feel that the religion, the beautiful religion Islam, has gone to wrong hands.
Right, sir.
And it's for us educated people to take that responsibility and show to the world that
Right,
Islam
right.
is not extremist.
Right,
Islam
right.
is not fundamentalist.
Right,
It's a
right.
religion of peace, and
Mhm.
I personally think that I would pursue that aim
Right.
after completion of my PhD.
Right, right. So, well, I mean, in many aspects, sir, mashallah, you have achieved more than us like this. It's not for the sake of like we are having normal eyesight and all those things, but mashallah, you have achieved much more than us. Many people like us, we cannot follow a PhD and all those things. Mashallah, you have achieved much more than that. Now, a little bit, if we come to your field is English teaching and English literature like this. As we see the condition of English teaching and learning and speaking, if I am not wrong, things are a little bit pathetic if we see in our society, like whether it is school, colleges, universities, or other institutions. So, any suggestion we would like to give in order to improve the quality of teaching, the quality of learning, and the use of English language in common society also?
Well, any language, not only English, any language has got some skills.
Right.
Listening, reading, speaking, and writing. These skills, and they are called skills.
Correct.
Why they are called skills? They are called skills because every skill needs to be practiced upon.
Right.
Every skill needs to be learned, and you can perfect it
Right.
only when you practice over it. So most of the times, the teachers as well as the students, the learners of English, they don't practice
Right.
over reading, writing, listening, or speaking. So unless we change the teaching methodology, unless we adjust the teaching style to the learning styles
Right,
of the
sir.
students, unless we focus upon improving the quality of teaching,
Right,
unless
sir.
we focus our attention on improving the syllabus,
Right,
the
sir.
materials that we teach in
All
our
these
schools
areas
and
need to be
colleges,
overhauled,
that
I think.
all these areas need to be over, and particularly the most important element in the teaching of English language is obviously teacher.
Right.
Because if you have problems with your syllabus and have a good teacher, that teacher can make amends for the loopholes, the
Right.
weaknesses that might exist in that particular syllabus.
Right. Can make
If
things
you have-
palatable for the students.
Yes,
I
if
think.
you have problems with the institution where a particular language is taught, if the teacher is capable, have got good qualities, then he can make amends for those weaknesses in that
Right, sir.
institution. So, and the major problem here with our English language teaching endeavors is that you see, we haven't got good, talented, and dedicated teachers of
Right,
English.
sir. Right. Well, sir, I've heard that actually you're taking exam is a very interesting story. Right? I've heard about it because the mode or the method in which you took your exams. Could you please just tell us a little bit how did you take your exams?
Well, I have
Because,
already given
you used to
you-
dictate for someone, and there were certain terms and conditions for you. So would you please
Yes,
tell
of
us
course,
about
of
it,
course.
please?
It's a very interesting story.
Right,
I've
sir.
already given you a glimpse of how the authorities used to treat us.
Apathetic like this.
Yes, thank Allah. The situation has changed a great
Right.
deal. Now the visually impaired students are readily allotted their writers or adolescents, whatever you call them. But in our time, when I was growing up, and when I was probably the first case because I was never trusted by these people.
Right.
So when I finally got convinced the authorities, you see,
Right, sir.
I came to know that the writer which would be sitting with me and writing for me in the exam would have to be below the class in
Right,
which I
sir.
would be appearing. For
Mhm,
example,
mhm,
when
mhm.
I would be appearing in FA,
Right,
my writer must be a regular student
You
of
have to
class
you
10.
had to bank on him for all these.
Yes, my dad would have to be a regular student of class 10.
Okay.
When I'm telling you, when I was taking my BA exam,
Right, sir.
you see, I convinced my nephew, my young nephew, who was a regular student of class 9 at that time,
My goodness.
to sit with me and write for me.
Okay.
And I'm grateful to him. He sat with me. He was very young. He
Right,
used
right.
to be, because he didn't appear in any board
But he
exam.
wrote for you.
He wrote for me, and he used to be under a great deal of stress.
Right, right.
People, seeing people moving about and asking and shouting at students. You see, he used to be very afraid of the situation.
Both of you were in the same boat. Right, sir.
Although he was quite used to the situation, but
Right.
for him it was a terrible situation. But he couldn't say
Right.
no to me.
So equally the credit goes to him also. Like.
Yes, and I
Supporting
told you in the
mashallah.
beginning that there are many people who helped me.
Right, sir.
So
Right, sir.
some of them would remain the unsung heroes.
And then you had to finish the paper in that allotted time also,
Yeah,
not more
and
than
that-
that.
yeah, of
You were
course.
not given any extra time.
No,
for that,
not
like this.
although on paper,
Right, right, right.
the invigilating staff were supposed to give me 45 minutes extra,
Right,
but
sir,
they
right,
never took the trouble of
Right, sir.
giving me that
Right,
time.
sir. Right. Mashallah, very important and interesting element of your story is that like the way you improve your language, because we are not native speakers, but even then, mashallah, we see. And as your worthy and great teacher, Mr. Ahmad Farid, told me, and he was very surprised when you met him for the first time, and he said that I couldn't believe whether he's a foreigner or he's a British or like this. So from the very beginning, mashallah, your English is very good. So what measures did you take to improve your English language?
You see, this is English saying to make the best of the worst situation.
Right, sir.
So when I lost my sight, the only hobby that I had at that time was to listen to radio.
Right.
So in the beginning, I used to listen to Radio Pakistan, Islamabad, Peshawar. And, my father used to listen to the world service of the BBC, that is the Urdu service of the
Right,
BBC.
sir.
So I used to sit with him and listen to the news bulletins from the BBC. So one day that Urdu service came to an end, and my father had fallen asleep at that time. So the radio was on, and I was awake. So
Right,
at that
right,
time, an English teaching program began, and it was in English.
Right.
It was in quite simple English, so I was very much fascinated by that program.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. You're talking about the time when your eyes became impaired, like
Yes, in 1993.
just after that, like this.
After
Okay,
that.
right. Correct.
I
sir.
told you that the only hobby at that time was to listen to radio.
Right, sir. Right.
So then I started recording those programs, and when I ran out of cassettes at
Right.
that time, or rather ran short of cassettes, so I thought to myself, why not record the main points of
Right,
these programs?
right.
In this way, I would save cassettes, and I would also be able to keep a record of the main points
Right.
that are given in these teaching programs.
Right, sir. Right.
So I started listening to those programs and started re-recording, because I couldn't write. So I started re-recording the main points from those programs. So in this way, quite subconsciously, I would imitate the native speakers.
Right,
Because
right,
those
right.
programs were presented by the native speakers. So I pick up their accent, I picked up their...
Difficulties became a blessing in disguise.
Yeah,
so
that's
you
what
took
I
hold of
told
the
you.
only faculty you left, that was
To
the
make-
hearing, and you used that one, mashallah.
Yeah,
right.
to make the best of the worst situation.
Right,
That's all blessing in disguise.
Right, sir,
So
right.
you see, in this way, for 3, 4, 5 years, I recorded their programs, the main points, and without making any conscious attempt,
Right.
I started putting on their accent.
Mhm.
I started improving my pronunciation as well.
And that's why you
my,
speak,
my- my
mashallah, in a very
speaking was
wonderful
improved.
way. We enjoy your speaking with you, sir. Sir, Professor Gul Zamin, it was an honor, it was a pleasure to see you, and obviously, no doubt it's an inspiration for many people like us. And we're hoping and we're looking forward to have more and more meetings with you. We'd like to benefit from
Thank you very much.
your struggle from your talent. And ladies and gentlemen, that was the end of the interview. Some other time, inshallah, I'd like to invite Professor Gul Zamin for another session. Until then, take care of yourself. Thank you very much. Goodbye.